All right, it is 2 o'clock and we are going to get started. Thank you all for coming to UW Systems Virtual Career Trek featuring Marcus Hotels and Resorts and hosted by UW Stout. Thanks to the Career Trek Committee from across the state for organizing these events for students to engage in their career exploration. Want to go next slide, Cami? Perfect. There is an official registration form linked in the chat feature that I will do now. We'll place it in the chat throughout our conversation today so that late arrivers can see it. Please click on the link so that we know who is in attendance today. Career Treks are a UW system initiative connecting students with regional employers. Treks have the support of UW system and other state leaders who are deeply invested in retaining talent in our state. There is a trek almost every Tuesday this semester, always at 2 p.m. And you can see previous treks via recordings on the UW River Falls website. Next week's trek will feature J.F. Brennan and is hosted by UW La Crosse. All right, you'll see a live polling launch soon so that our employer partner can see who is in attendance today. Please complete that as you see it pop up. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Matt Martin with Marcus Hotels and Resorts. They look forward to talking and taking your questions at the end of the comments today, and all questions can be asked in the chat. Matt, I'll invite you to take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to UW Stout for asking Marcus Hotels and Resorts, Marcus Corporation, to present on this, on the topic of Marcus and on the hospitality hotel service industry today for the UW System Career Treks. It's truly an honor. And one of the things we're hoping to do is certainly talk about Marcus Hotels and Resorts. My second favorite topic after myself, or actually probably second favorite after my children, I would say. But thrilled to talk about Marcus Hotels and Resorts, Marcus Corporation, Marcus Theaters. But would like to talk a little bit or ask that you consider the broader scope as well. The hospitality, hotel, restaurant industries, entertainment industries, for your career paths and career treks. I wanted to make this a little bit more than just an information system about Marcus Hotels and Resorts. You'll certainly get plenty of information about us and our mission and our properties and our operations. We also have some amazing panel members that are going to share their personal story, career trek story with you as well that you can build from. I also want to make sure I thank my partner in crime and colleague, Cami Ellis, our talent engagement manager. She actually did most of the work on this PowerPoint presentation. She's a valued team member, and like many of you, she's started her career trek in human resources, but has aligned it with hospitality, which I think is an industry that she's really enjoying. And I haven't mentioned my role yet. I am the Senior Director of Talent Acquisition for Marcus Hotels and Resorts. I've been with Marcus Hotels and Resorts for, just a little over 20 years. So Cami, if you'd like to advance to the next slide for us. So I'd like to cover just a little information about Marcus Corporation and a little bit about who we are. Most of you are probably most familiar with our theater vision, right? You grew up going to Marcus Theaters, enjoying the movies there. I'm sure some of you probably attend now and enjoy seeing our CEO, Greg Marcus, on the screen. But many don't understand or know a whole lot about Marcus Hotels and Resorts. We don't brand our properties Marcus Hotels, but you're probably very familiar with several of our entities that we'll cover shortly. Marcus Corporation, when you take in consideration our hotels, Marcus theaters, our restaurants, including Safe House Restaurant, is the largest hospitality and entertainment employer in the state of Wisconsin. And I've never really seen a count for other employers, but I don't even think it's close when you consider all the individuals that we employ in all of our locations. Marcus Hotels and Resorts, Marcus Corporation, is traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol MCS. We have 87 years of success, stability, and innovation. And this is my opportunity to wish all of you a happy Founders Day. Kind of a coincidence, but a really happy coincidence. Today is actually our anniversary. Marcus Hotels and Resorts, Marcus Corporation, Marcus Theaters has been in existence since 1935. You'll actually see the image on your left is our founder, Ben Marcus. And he's in a parade riding in a fire truck, I believe it is. I'd hate to try to guess at the year, but he's passing along in front of the campus cinema marquee, which was the original business operation for Marcus Corporation. The theater is still in Ripon, Wisconsin today. But that is where it all started some 35 years ago. And I think the marquee actually says something about that. I could spend a majority of our presentation today talking about awards and accolades and recognition that both the corporation, Marcus Hotels as a division, and the Marcus family has received. But I like to pull out one in particular to talk about, because I think it really connects so to the core of Marcus Corporation and who they are, who our board is, who our senior leadership team is. It's a core value. It's the price of admission. It's all about ethics and trust. So I want to say it's about 4 years ago, maybe it's 5 or 6 years ago. We all have that gap, those couple gap years from the pandemic, it seems, but Marcus Corporation was recognized as one of Forbes magazine's top 100 most trusted companies in America, and it's a hard list to get on. There's a lot of awards that you can regularly get, and sometimes it's based on your revenues and the size of your organization. But this most trusted award really means that you are focused on ethics, doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And that's so to the core of Marcus. Working with them for 20 years, I have seen it in action again and again and again. And then one last highlight there with the bullet points to call out is we are headquartered in downtown Milwaukee, right at the corner of Water and Wisconsin, in the center of our 3 hotels. The Hilton in our 3 Milwaukee hotels, the Hilton Milwaukee City Center, the Pfister Hotel, and the St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. You'll also see an infographic to your right, which provides blue pins for our hotel locations or cities that our hotels are in, and red pins for all of our theater locations. So as you can see, it's when you consider theaters and hotels, it's quite the expansive reach. Next slide, please. So here's a wonderful timeline that covers the history of Marcus. And I'm not going to make a stop on each one, but we just talked about 1935, the opening of, in November 1st, 1935, today, our first Marcus Theater. Marcus got into, Ben Marcus and Marcus Corporation got into operating big boy restaurants in 1958. That spun into other restaurant operations later. First, they served KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, on the menus. Then they ran Kentucky Fried Chicken operations. Then they also had Applebee's. I think they had some Pizza Huts as well. They also created their own concepts like Captain's Steak Joint many, many years ago. So if you spent some time in Milwaukee at that time, you might be familiar with those operations. I like to describe Marcus and the Marcus family and their approach to business as serial entrepreneurs. And it's pretty true for folks in the hospitality industry. They're always looking for a new way to delight, engage, support, provide services that individuals are looking for. The story goes that even when Ben Marcus was coming to America as an immigrant on a ship named the Berengaria, which is near and dear to our history as well, he found out that by serving and helping people, he could earn a few cents here, a few cents there. And I think the story goes, if I'm not mistaken, that let him know that when he got to America, there would be great opportunity for those that are serving and delighting others. So in 1962, they bought the Pfister Hotel, and I'm not sure if I'm saying the right financial term, but out of receivership. It had been closed, it had been shuttered. They're basically going to tear down this grand hotel and turn it into a parking lot. But Ben Marcus, our founder, decided to buy the hotel. And one of my favorite parts of the story is when they got in there, they found this amazing Victorian art collection that could be sold and almost recoup a large portion, if not all, the money that was spent on buying the hotel. But Ben Marcus at that time committed to keeping that art where it was at, so guests of the future could enjoy it like the guests of the past had. He felt it was part of what made the hotel special and would make it special for years to come. That art still adorns the walls of the Pfister Hotel. And from my understanding, is I think the largest privately held Victorian art collection. I encourage you, if you're in the hotel, to go check it out. They went on to buy the Sheraton Schroeder Hotel, I believe is the right way to say it, which was the Mark Plaza before that, or initially right after they acquired it, which later became the Hilton Milwaukee City Center. They went on to purchase the Grand Geneva Resort and Spa. It was same thing. It was basically in a very bad state. It may have still been in operation, but it needed a lot of love and attention, and the family purchased it. And today is recognized as one of the top all-season resorts in the United States. They created another restaurant concept in the Chop House restaurant, which is in the Hilton Milwaukee City Center. There's also that same concept is at the Grand Geneva Resort and Spa. It's also in our, for those at UW Stout, not far away, at our Hilton in Bloomington, there in Minnesota. We started to grow our focus on wellness and spas with the branding of the Well Spa in 2004. We did an amazing job, or worked with some partners to do a great job in restoring a great historic hotel in Oklahoma City in 2007, the Skirvin Hilton Hotel. The corporation purchased Safe House. If for those in the Milwaukee area, Chicago area, maybe you're familiar with the Safe House restaurant and bar. They purchased that in 2015 and kind of put a lot of money into the restaurant there in Milwaukee, and then actually expanded that concept into Chicago. And then in 2019, we took what was the Intercontinental Hotel there, and the company actually completely renovated, rebranded, reimagined the property into a one of a kind. Really, it's first of its kind. There's other arts hotels out there, but this one actually connects with all forms of art, from performance to physical art. They also have galleries in, and then art throughout the hotel. It also engages those who love art in the room with other different special touches. Next slide. So again, as I said, Marcus Hotels is part of Marcus Corporation. You're probably more familiar with Marcus Theaters. I'm not going to read each bullet point here for you, but it's the fourth largest theater circuit. Very large operation. You saw the little pins on the map and the cities, states that they're in. Always been focused on offering the latest in amenities. That's always been important to Marcus, right? We got to make it better than our competition. We've got to make it better than they can watch or experience at home, right? Dream loungers, everybody loves dream loungers. Well, what's the next level? Well, let's have heated dream loungers. So they're always looking for better ways to improve the experience in their theaters and in our hotels, very much. Expanded food concepts, right? It's not your usual popcorn and milk duds and pretzel bites anymore. And then most recently, always looking for ways to delight and engage new opportunities. Marcus Theaters opened the Wall at Marcus Gurney Cinema in Gurney, Wisconsin. And it's a sports, it's kind of a reimagined sports, I don't want to say bar, that doesn't really say it. Right, but you can actually see a picture of it on the right. The center picture there is a rendering, or might actually be a picture inside of the wall. But the whole idea is, with let's say with the World Cup coming up, it's a place that you can go watch several games with your friends, have a bite. Yeah, you could do that at a sports bar, but the viewing and experience is just a little more heightened than, it always seems the TV I want to watch is behind me, right? This puts everything right in front of you, and kind of immerses you at a higher level in the experience. If we go to the hotel slide, Cami. So again, as I said, we've got several operations throughout the country. Again, you saw the pins on the page, and what we've done here is we've listed the various hotels as those that are owned asset and managed assets. We both own and manage properties. There's also a couple condo hotels in there. So it gives you some idea of the markets that we're in, the type of properties we're in. As I said, you'll see none of them say Marcus, and that's sometimes why you're not as familiar with Marcus Hotels and Resorts. But many of these are either brands, because we do run branded and independent properties. And many of these may actually be independent properties, especially those of you, and I assume most of you are probably, if you're in the UW system in Wisconsin, are familiar with some of those Wisconsin-based properties. Next slide. So I wanted to make sure I spend a little time talking about our values, our culture, our mission. It really is one of the things that separates us from our competition. It's one of the reasons, the main reason I've stayed with the company myself for 20 years. It really goes to things like Ben Marcus, our founder, in an interview with a reporter talking about, he's got these hotels, he's got these theaters, he's got these restaurants, done all these amazing things. But he explains to the reporter, but you have to understand, my most important asset is my people, right? Are my associates, right? Are my team members. None of that matters if I don't have the right people in the operations. He's also famous for coining the phrase people-pleasing people, which really focuses on our focus on, what's most important. And we consider that to both our guests and our associates. If we don't care for our associates, if we don't care for them the way we want them to care for our guests, they will not. Then on the left, you'll see our mission. A few years ago, we decided, rather than making it this long, elaborate, we will do this and that, and then on these occasions, this is really important, and this really focuses on the three key aspects of creating memories, serving people, and delivering exceptional experiences. And that's has a strong focus on turning the ordinary, or turning what may be your ordinary day, right, as a hospitality hotel professional, into somebody's extraordinary day. When you think about, everybody's there to enjoy a vacation, or they're there for some special event, we have to be focused on caring for them and making it extraordinary. Committed to excellence. And then we talked about pleasing people. I do believe we've got a video queued up that will actually let Greg Marcus, who you're probably familiar with, say it in his own words.
Hi, I'm Greg Marcus, President and CEO of the Marcus Corporation. My grandfather, Ben Marcus, started this company in 1935 with a single movie theater in Ripon, Wisconsin. We still operate that theater today, but we've grown far beyond that. Today, Marcus Theaters is the fourth largest theater circuit in the U.S. with 895 screens at 69 locations in 8 states. Marcus Hotels and Resorts owns or manages 17 hotel properties in 9 states, while also operating several popular standalone restaurants and luxurious spas. Although a lot has changed at the Marcus Corporation over the years, some of the most important things remain the same. It has always been our goal to make what is an ordinary day for us an extraordinary day for our guests. The challenge is every guest has a story. We just don't know what it is. Is the couple buying popcorn and a soda on their first date? Did the two people eating lunch just close a major business deal? Is the couple that just checked in celebrating a major anniversary? In most cases, we simply don't know. That's why we strive to create a memorable experience for each and every guest, whether it's for a few hours or a lifetime. Another thing that hasn't changed is the personalities of our associates. Our associates are people who enjoy serving others. They want to make a difference in someone's day, make their stay more comfortable or their night out more exciting. Bottom line, our associates feel good when they are serving others. They are happy and positive people who enjoy their jobs and have fun at work. One of the most important traditions of the Marcus Corporation is something that has been in our culture since day one: giving back to the communities where our associates live and work. Associates in our hotels, movie theaters, restaurants, and corporate office find unique and meaningful ways to give back to their communities. We encourage our associates to get involved and support individual associates who are passionate about particular causes. We describe it as doing well by doing good. Each year, we give an award named after my grandfather to associates who've gone above and beyond volunteering in their communities. The award includes a donation to the charity of their choice, the best way we could think of to thank them for their commitment to helping others. So what is your personality? Do you enjoy serving others? Do you want to work with a company that encourages and values community service? Do you want to make someone's day extraordinary? If you do, I hope you will consider joining the Marcus Corporation family.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a big Hollywood movie to show you after that, like you usually get at a movie theater. But if you'd like to run out and get some popcorn and some concessions, please feel free to do so. Next slide, if you don't mind, Cammie. So as I talked about, serial entrepreneurs always creating new concepts, new ways to delight, and that's very much so in the food and beverage world. If you consider yourself a foodie, you'd be right at home with folks at Marcus. We love food. I might love it just a little too much myself. But the company's always looking at new ways. What is it people are looking for? What makes them feel comfortable? What makes them feel at home? What are they going to enjoy? We do most of our prep from scratch still, and many folks don't. So we just have a few of our numerous brands spread throughout our operations to the right there. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about Safe House, a concept really near and dear to all of our hearts. Originally opened in 1966, it's been this place for people to kind of get away, have some fun with friends. It's got this really great espionage theme to it. You get a chance to embarrass friends that haven't been there before. I mean, what's better than that, right? To see your friends up there doing the chicken dance, the hula dance, acting like robots, and everybody in the bar watching them on the TV while it's going on. And then again, just like everywhere else, great food, great drinks. But if you haven't been to the Safe House in Milwaukee, you gotta go. And if you haven't been to the Safe House in Chicago, where we've put a little bit more Marcus spin and modernized it a little bit, you need to go there too, because these are unique experiences that have been, again, choreographed to give you something out of the ordinary. And then on our next slide, we're going to talk about creating extraordinary experiences beyond, right? Hotels, movies, restaurants. We also run world-class spas. 2 amazing 18-hole golf courses at the Grand Geneva Resort and Spa, the Brute and the Highlands. We have a ski operation. When I say the Grand Geneva is all season, it is all season. It's got a mountaintop, and they've got a terrain park for ski boarders and hills for skiers. We also have a water park. I mean, Wisconsin's the water park capital of the world. So certainly we should have a water park at our Timber Ridge Resort, which sits on the Grand Geneva campus. Next slide, please. So in this slide, this is really talking about the business of hotels a little bit more, right? So everybody shows up, they stay at a hotel, nice clean room, friendly people. Often they really don't think about all that goes into it, right? I was recently on campus for your career conference. Thank you again for letting me be there and engage those wonderful students. And there was a lot of students talking about real estate, and to them, real estate, it seemed meant, in many cases, multifamily, right? Apartments, and how you run apartments, and how people have a lease, and how you take care of it, and how you fix things. And in the hotel world, real estate means a much bigger thing, right? Every hotel, every resort, it is also a real estate investment. Starwood was a real estate investment trust, right? And later acquired by Marriott, which runs and owns hotels too. Mainly runs, I guess, at this point. But so when we talk about revenue and distribution, right? When we talk about technology, right? We have huge IT departments, right? We have so many different point of point of sale systems. It's crazy between spas and restaurants and lodging. We do our own renovations and construction. So we have people doing project management. You're going to hear from one here shortly. So this really speaks to that. If you're in HR, there's HR operations. These are very large and sophisticated business operations that for even those in an HR major or an accounting or IT or finance or whatever major, right? My degree's in communications, right? Who would have thought I'd ended up in hotels? Next slide, please. So to our core, there may be nothing more important than serving our community. And I think Greg tells the story best. And I think it's his father, might have been his grandfather, right? Greg is our CEO. Steve Marcus is the chairman of the board. And so who's Steve's Greg's father, and then Ben is Steve's father. But anyway, he talks about one of the two of them saying, hey, not only is it the right thing to support our communities, we have to support our communities in the hospitality, service, restaurant, entertainment industry. We just can't pick up a movie theater, a hotel, a restaurant, and move it to another location, right? We're as committed to the community, its people, as they are, right? We are part of the community. We're intertwined. You can't separate the two. So we've been dedicated in the family itself and the foundation for years to supporting the needs of the communities, everything from arts to community development, education, health, very committed. And then Greg talked a little bit about the Ben Marcus Humanitarian Award. So I won't spend a lot of time on that, but we actually all compete to try to do as much as we can because it's the right thing. Greg often says it's about doing well by doing good. Next slide, please. And then last but not least, we're on campus. We're out there engaging students, faculty, spending time on campus. We're focused on the education for folks for our industry. And at times, sometimes they don't come work for us. But if you go work for a competitor, it's all right, right? Because at the end of the day, the knowledge and experience you will pick up delighting others wherever you're at. We're happy to welcome you back to Wisconsin someday, maybe if you go somewhere else. We'll welcome you to Marcus someday. I'm not encouraging you to go somewhere else, but for us, it's a bigger picture than just getting you to be one of our management trainees or one of our interns. We support management trainee programs, internships, OPT and CPT for the F1 students. These are practical experiences they can pick up while they're in the States. And also we feel our size and scale, we're not nearly as large as some of our competitors out there, but we feel that gives us an opportunity to focus a little bit more on those individuals and high potentials, be it an intern, be it a management trainee or OPT. And then the last but not least on that slide there is our commitment to students, programs, their clubs, the faculty, the campus. We're open to anything. We've been speaking to an HSMAI group, Hotel Sales and Marketing Association International. I may have said it wrong the first time, but anyway, they're at UW Stout about doing a sales blitz. I know we've worked with a group out of UW Whitewater many years ago for a marketing like competition or case study at the Grand Geneva. We're really open to anything. If it's going to help develop the talent and skills and keep the best and brightest, which many of the folks on this Zoom meeting today are, if it's going to keep you in Wisconsin, we want to do that, right? We want to keep you here, keep that brain power here. So if there's ways we can engage students and faculty at a higher level, please let us know. Well, I'd like to make sure that you just don't have to hear it from me. And what we've done is we pulled a panel of 4 people together that you're going to meet here one at a time. These are Marcus leaders that have been very successful with Marcus and have wonderful career stories to share with you. Oh, and by the way, they all happen to be UW system graduates. And we're going to start with maybe one of the most compelling stories, Derek Morrison. He's our general manager at the Hilton Madison Monona Terrace. Are you there, Derek?
I am here. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Derek.
So just to give you a little bit about, I mean, you can see all the positions I've had at Marcus here. That's scary seeing it written down like that. I have not viewed it that way before. But so for me, right when I got out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew is I was going to Madison, and that was what was most important to me. I started, it was the first summer right after graduating high school. I needed a job to save up some money for Madison. And I had somebody that I had known and said, you should work out at Grand Geneva at the resort. So my very first position was a beverage bar porter. Later on that winter, I ended up going in as a ski lift operator as well. Um, and it's because I really enjoyed my time out there. Um, After I got into school, it didn't make as much sense after a couple years coming back and forth to Lake Geneva just for the winters and the summers. So the Hilton Madison had just opened. It was in 2001. And so I joined there shortly after it opened its doors and worked at the front desk. I was a front desk agent. Um, I really enjoyed what I was doing. I was going to school at Madison and enjoying that probably a little bit too much. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and as time kept coming along while I was at school, I just kind of found myself always being drawn back to the hotel, to this hotel that I'm at now at the Hilton Madison, and really enjoyed my time here. Really enjoyed all the experiences, and I kept on getting recognized for it, and it was a wonderful thing to work hard, not only full time student but full time as an associate here, um, and I ended up winning the Employee of the Year award, which is coined the People Pleaser of the Year award. After that, I was getting closer and closer to graduating. They had promoted me to supervisor at the front office, and I was approached by an HR director, Pat Carl, who's still with the company as well, and John Archibald, one of my mentors, who is GM at several Marcus properties, and said, you should really think about this as a career move. And uh, about to graduate, didn't know what else I was going to be doing. I said, you know what, this is worth it. I really enjoy when I'm working. So I decided, okay, let's do it. So they set up and developed a management trainee program here at the hotel for me. That I was the first MIT here at the Hilton Madison. I did 15 months. It was not. It was a little more labor intensive back then. I don't think our management trainee programs go quite that long anymore. But 15 months, I got a chance to experience every position in the hotel, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. After that time, they asked me if I'd become the night manager. So I certainly took that opportunity. And uh, after that, I really was able to go across the company. The GM and the HR director both transferred to the Hilton Milwaukee and asked me if I would come along with them as the assistant director of front office operations. I did that for a year. I did leave Marcus for a short period of time. So I left, I went to work for a different management company um, with one of the former Marcus GMs who ended up coming back to the hotel or to Marcus, as did I. So although I did leave, I think it speaks volumes that I returned and I wanted to return, and it was great. So I had the opportunity to go up to Hilton Bloomington and work as the director of front office at that property. Um, from there, my former GM that I'd followed to Milwaukee was taking a GM position out at Las Vegas and asked me if I would follow him out there as well. So I did have that opportunity too. I worked out in Vegas for about 5 years. I always tell people that 5 years in Vegas is like a decade of normal life because it's just 24 hours a day nonstop. It could be 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, and you could find activities to do if you wanted to in Vegas. Um, but overall, it was the experience that I got there. I was promoted there to director of operations. Um, uh, and then after about 5 years, I had the opportunity to go out to Atlanta, Georgia. There was an opening and a need for somebody in the rooms division, for a beautiful property that we used to manage out there. Um, the property did so well under Marcus's management, that the owners decided, hey, it's time to sell it. And so they did. I think the hotel doubled in its evaluation. Um, but that I realized I really wasn't. I stayed on with the new company and realized this isn't Marcus. So I came back a second time to Marcus, because I do really thoroughly think it's a great company to work for. Um, some of the things that Marcus provides that I would challenge or go up against anyone is the ability to network. Um, Obviously, if you work at 8 different properties, you have that opportunity of networking very well, but that's 8 different controllers or directors of finance, 8 different human resources directors, 8 different directors of sales. Everybody thinks differently, and so it was really great to just pull in all that experience from all those places. And um, because of the great networking opportunities, my former GM at the Hilton in Bloomington said, I need some help, Derek. Come back up to Minneapolis, and I jumped on the opportunity. Only there about 3 months, and GM position opened up at the Crown Plaza North Star Hotel downtown Minneapolis. And they didn't know what they were doing at first. I just rose my hand and said, can I please help? Put me where you need me. And started my tenure at the North Star for 3 years. And then obviously everybody knows what happened in 2020. It got a little ugly in the hospitality industry, but I had the opportunity to come back to Madison and really complete that full circle. So after 20 years of being starting out at the front desk, I was able to come back as the general manager here, and I wouldn't give it away for anything. Some people have asked me, what, thinking back on it, what would you tell yourself 15, 20 years ago? It's a common question I think we get. And I certainly, it's never changed for me. I tell myself, or I answer that question by saying, be patient and keep working hard, and good things will come. And I can say that confidently with the Marcus Corporation.
That's great. That's great advice. Yeah.
I think it's on that topic there. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of the speaker Simon Sinek, very well known for his TED Talks. He had said something, and just a great person very insightful when you're talking about the different generations in the workforce and whatnot. And he said, listen, if you have 8 jobs in 5 years, right now you might be able to do that here to make some gains, but 5 years from now, if you've had 8 jobs, employers are going to start looking at you and saying, you know what, I don't think I want to take that risk. So what he really focused in on is you've got to weather the storm. So please believe me, in 22 plus years with Marcus, there have been some storms. There's been some very challenging times, but there's also been some amazing times. But I think what's helped me, and I guess I can't speak for myself with regards to this, but what I think has helped me is just sometimes you have to grind it out. Sometimes you got to weather that storm. Sometimes you have to be there and make sacrifices for the hotel or the team, and 99% of the time you get rewarded with that. If you go out of your way to work a shift that might not be the most ideal, just so it frees up somebody to be able to do something extra special for themselves, you're 99% times more likely to have that person come and help you out when you need it the most. So
That's a great transition, if you don't mind, Derek.
yeah,
Thank you for all that. But that is a great transition, because I know Vanessa Bissonnette,
Yes.
has been filling in and helping some folks out in her time. So thank you for doing that, Derek. I know you may have to jump off and run to another appointment, but thanks for your portion of our panel discussion today. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Rooms Division Director at the Platinum Hotel, Vanessa Bissonnette, who's going to tell you a little bit about her career path, which is similar but different than Derek's.
Yeah, so Derek, everybody out here says hi.
hello,
So
Platinum.
Pat's out here with me and everything, so they all miss you out here, but
Keep
yes, like you
Oscar,
said,
keep Oscar
definitely.
well behaved.
Yeah, absolutely. He hits his 14 years today.
Wow.
14 years with Marcus today. That is our director of housekeeping. So
Congratulations, Oscar.
yeah, so just seeing that there's a lot of longevity out here with Marcus itself. So but I have been with Marcus for I'll hit 7 years this month in November. So happy to be with the company, longest company I've been with, and sticking around with them. So, but just a little history on me with the UW system. I graduated in 2009, but I never, just like Derek mentioned, I never knew what I wanted to do when I grew up either. I'm not sure I still do know, but while I was going to school, I got a job as a night auditor at a select service hotel, and just thought, I like this, I could do this. And I knew I always wanted to travel, and working in hotels, getting to know the ins and outs of it, and always thinking, well, maybe I'll get a discount or something like that. So when I was a young, naive college student just starting out in Whitewater. So I also, with wanting to know to travel, I didn't think I could commit to a full semester abroad. So I definitely highly recommend the travel study program that UW Whitewater offers. I was able to go to Paris and Italy. I did 2. But with that, I use those skills every day, still today. Just the other day, I was talking with one of the engineers. We have washers and dryers in our units, and they're like, why do all these people not know how to use the washer and dryer from the international? And I was like, well, when I was in Paris, I didn't know how to use their washer and dryer either. So just letting them know and anticipating our guests' needs, right? That's part of our commitment to excellence with Marcus Corporation, and knowing what the guests are going to expect when they're here and the different culture immersion that happened there. It definitely made me a stronger associate within the hospitality industry for sure. And especially out here in Vegas, a high international clientele out here. So knowing they need adapters for their outlets and how to read their passports and the difference between a passport and a visa for check-in and stuff. So highly recommend that. That definitely laid that groundwork for me within the UW system. And then after graduation, I worked at a resort in Lake Geneva area where I did grow up in the industry, became a supervisor, then a manager, and so forth. And the opportunity came to be a director of rooms at a different property, but ultimately ended up where I decided to hop on the Disney Cruise Line. So did that for a few years. And that, I was talking to Matt the other day about it, really taught me there with growing within my career, to not be afraid to veer off your path of the goal that you think you have set. With hotels, hospitalities, restaurant, anything like that, you never know. You want to be well-rounded. So even as Derek mentioned, work that shift that you might not think is good for you. You never know where that will lead you. Jump in a different department, help out where you can. I started out as guest services there, ended up being the training officer for the whole hotel department of the cruise line. Disney's definitely known for their training programs and stuff. So I was very happy to be able to be a part of that on the ship. So not only getting the new hires acclimated to ship life, but I was in food and beverage, retail, guest services, and housekeeping on the cruise line. So never thought I would have veered out of guest services, thought that was going to be my life. So an opportunity, just know that, okay, I want to be the director of front office, but hey, director or a food and beverage manager option opened up. Don't be afraid to take that leap. So, and as Derek mentioned, Oscar, he's one who has also done that, going all different departments within the hotel. You want to be well-rounded. And then my family life led me back to Wisconsin after the cruise line, where then I finally joined the Marcus Corporation and the Marcus family. So I was at Timber Ridge as the front office manager. Mr. Matt interviewed me and gave me that job. So I have him to thank for my career here with Marcus, and became the front office director there. And I was in Lake Geneva for 3 years. And I got the opportunity for promotion and move out here to Vegas, where I'm the director of rooms. And just this year, I have officially become a member of the EOC. So the growth that Marcus offers all of its staff members is just amazing. They, as Matt also mentioned, people pleasing people isn't just our guests, it's our associates. And that is one thing that I hold dear whenever I talk about Marcus to anyone. I just talk about how we focus on our employee recognition. We don't say employee of the year. We say people pleaser of the year, people pleaser of the quarter as well. That commitment to excellence, seeing our associates, especially after coming out of the pandemic, seeing this new commitment to excellence. And we were just talking, the Platinum Hotel just hit our 16-year anniversary on just about 3 days ago or so. So we had a nice party, and the staff talked about, the company made it through the pandemic. Obviously out here in Vegas, it was very difficult. The whole city is nothing but hospitality. So being able to make it through and put that focus on everybody and have that commitment to the staff absolutely brings us closer together every day. So we do have friendships for life. I still talk to everybody, most of my friends out in Wisconsin. When I come home to visit, it's always, we got to meet and everything and see each other. So this longest stretch of 7 years with the company has been a great one, and one that I definitely highly recommend to everyone around me.
Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, for that. And I know you had to move some things around to be here. And the schedule wasn't with you. We really appreciate you doing it. But that's what hospitality people do, right, Vanessa? So thanks so much for being here.
Oh, of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So to just keep us, keep the knowledge flowing here. We had asked an individual who actually comes from our project management team. So as I mentioned, we do construction, we do renovations on our properties. Sam Korducky actually joined us as an intern. You'll see that on her work history in accounting, of all things. So we also wanted to highlight the fact that there are folks who do a lot of other things here rather than just working in a hotel or a restaurant or a spa or a golf course. So Sam, can you just tell the group a little bit about your journey with Marcus?
Absolutely. So I started with Marcus back in 2013 as going into my senior year of college. I had originally started going to UWM for what I thought I wanted to be in the healthcare industry, and going to orientation, I realized that was not the path I wanted to be on. So working in the restaurant industry as I was in high school and everything, I thought business was kind of the path that I wanted to be in, and thinking that maybe I might want to run a restaurant or something along those lines, but not really knowing that path. So I started in the business school at UWM and took an accounting class thinking, oh, I'll just pass this class and I'll just move on with my classes and continue on, but ended up falling in love with accounting, which isn't surprising now thinking back on it because I love math. But it was just something that I was kind of surprised by. So I ended up graduating from UW Milwaukee with a double major in accounting and finance and a minor in communications, which again, something I didn't think that I would do, but going outside of what you think is your norm and learning more about yourself while you're in those classes is really all that's about. So getting the opportunity to be an intern as an in the accounting degree was really great, just to be able to put those skills I learned in the classroom to use. And then I ended up taking a full-time position as a staff accountant later that year, and working in that accounting role for about 4 years. And I worked with the properties directly, their controllers, closing the financials every month. I got to start working on the capital side of things. So I would work with our project management team here and get to do their invoicing for them, get to work with them on the capital improvement or capital approval process for our annual and for our big renovations, and anything from something that may be a small repair and maintenance type project to something that could be a multi-million-dollar renovation that we work on throughout all of our hotels. So that's really what got my wheels spinning on being in this project management side. Not knowing how I wanted to get there, I started thinking about not being in an office 24/7 and how I got to being in more of those construction related side of things. So I did end up leaving Marcus for a short amount of time, not even a year. I was gone for about 10 months at an architecture firm, and I got a call from Matt saying that they were interested in bringing me back as a project manager, knowing that I was interested in this field. And pretty much since then, I have been working on hotel renovations. So all of these beautiful properties that the team works at, we want to give them the best properties to sell to our guests, and obviously providing that experience, renovating them and bringing them up to, maybe we only need a soft goods renovation, but we do work on full renovations. So my first major project was the St. Kate property, which used to be the Intercontinental Milwaukee. And there's a very eye-opening experience how much work goes into those. But you work with everybody from furniture manufacturers to the construction side to the local teams here, and getting to know everybody on the properties that make the day-to-day run, so that we can get all the teams together. So that's a short version of how I've gotten to where I am. And I love working for this company. I obviously wouldn't have come back if I didn't. As everybody has said, it's a family company. And I think that's the one thing that I really enjoy, is the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I've known a lot of them for a long time, and it's great to see those familiar faces. Even after COVID, it was just, there's a lot that happened, and getting to see people's faces again, even familiar ones, was good to come back to. So
I agree, Sam. It really is. It's the people that makes it so great. Often when people, I always tell folks, often when folks have left Marcus and they go somewhere else they think is the newer, cooler place, or maybe it's a geography choice, right? They want to be in Colorado. We don't have a property in Colorado, but they always talk about the people, right? They're like, I don't know if it's the Midwestern thing, but everybody there's nice. And I always make the joke. I said, well, of course we're nice. We're in the hospitality business, but they always say, no, that's not the case everywhere else. So thrilled to have you, and you are a big part of what makes Marcus so special. So last but not least, I'd like to introduce you to LaToya Faison. She is our area HR director for the Chicago market. And she has an amazing story to share about Marcus. And I'm hoping she'll start with how she accidentally ended up working for Marcus and in the hotel business. Didn't plan on it, just ended up there.
Yes, I will start with that. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Yes, I kind of just stumbled upon the job. I did not, grow up going and staying in hotels. I traveled a lot, just more going to families' houses, or my family's houses, I guess I should say. So did not grow up going to hotels like most folks. I graduated. I'm originally from Racine, Wisconsin. I graduated from high school, had no idea what I wanted to do. I decided to go to UWM. I wanted to be close to home and I like their dorms. And I picked social welfare. I was, after talking to counselors, they were like, you seem like a nice person, like you like to help people. Why don't you major in social welfare? I'm like, okay. I did that for about a year and my family was like, you're not going to make any money. You need to major in business. So I majored in business. I think it was my sophomore year. I had a few on campus jobs, and the one I was at, I think, was the alumni house at UWM, and I had to call people and ask them for money, and I just hated doing it. I just dreaded it. I had a friend that wanted to ride to the Hilton. They were having a job fair. They were, I believe, having a job fair for the Militime Pub, which was opening. I was like, I'll give you a ride. So I gave her a ride. I decided just to go in. I was like, I'll fill out an application. I worked for the Racine Country Club as a server right out of high school. So I had some serving background and they saw that and hired me on the spot. I was like, cool. So I quit the alumni house. I did food and beverage for about 6 or 7 years, while I was in college and graduating from college. And I had a director of food and beverage who knew I was going to school for HR and told me, she's like, there's an internship at the Pfister. Why don't you go why don't you put in a transfer? So I did that. I got the internship at the Pfister. I did that for about 6 months. I went back to the, I'm looking at my timeline actually. I went back to the Hilton. I worked as an HR coordinator. I was kind of the gatekeeper. So you couldn't get past me for whatever reason you were coming to the HR office, you had to go through me. So I did that for a few months. I really wanted to learn more on the benefits side and associate engagement side. So I went more onto the benefits side of HR. Then we merged our HR departments because we found with a few of our different disciplines, sales, revenue, whatnot, we were kind of competing against each other. So we merged our HR departments. So the Pfister, then it was Intercontinental, now the St. Kate, and the Hilton, we did something called M1 HR. So I joined that crew and I did recruiting for all 3 properties, focusing on food and beverage since that was my background. Also had some opportunities to do task force. So I did some task force we had acquired a property in Lincoln, Nebraska. I think I helped out at the Hotel Phillips that we used to have in Kansas City when someone went on maternity leave. So I got the opportunity to kind of, called it field trips, got the opportunity to go and work at some other Marcus properties outside of Wisconsin. Went back and there was an opportunity to be an HR director at the then Intercontinental Milwaukee. So I applied for that transfer and got that role. Did that for a few years. And then Matt asked me to come down to Chicago. We were moving the Safe House. We were expanding the Safe House concept to Chicago. And we were also opening up an escape house. And so I came down here to help Matt with a job fair. And my previous HR director, his name was Chris Zarek. He was now in operations and he was the GM at the AC Marriott. And he was like, why don't you want to work with me again? And I hadn't really thought about transferring. So I went back to Milwaukee and filled out a transfer and relocated to Chicago about 6 years ago. And then last year I got the opportunity to become an area director. So I started overseeing our Hyatt that we have out in Schaumburg. So as of right now, I oversee the AC, the Hyatt, and the Safe House Chicago, which opened a few years ago as well. I think I kind of echo what a lot of my predecessors have said, before speaking, especially, Derek is thinking the reason why I'm still kind of here is the people. I have developed over my 20 plus years a big network of folks that I've worked with. I've crossed paths with Derek a few times at a few different properties. I've gotten the opportunity to go and work at a few of our different properties. I've gotten the opportunity to work for a few different brands now. My friends have no idea who I work for. They're so confused. But I've gotten the opportunity to work for Marriott's and a Hilton and a Hyatt and even a Westin. And it's just been, I still can't believe it's been 20 years. It doesn't seem, I still can't believe it. And it's so funny when I interview people, they always say, I'm like, why do you want to work in hospitality? Why do you want to work in hospitality? Like, I just don't want a desk job. I'm like, I don't just sit at a desk all day. Like the hotel is really like my workplace. Get the opportunity to be kind of any and everywhere throughout the building, engaging with our associates and kind of getting the job done.
That's a great example, Latoya. Even though you're in HR or Sam's in project management, everything we do is about delighting the customer and creating exceptional experiences. It's, you can't do anything in our business, right, without having an impact on the experience a guest, customer, family is having in our operations. I just love your story, though. I always make you tell it. I know you probably wish I would stop, but
again, 20 years. It's just, yeah. When I grew up with the Marcus Theater right down the street, I had no idea that they had a hotel division. So just all that I've learned just within hospitality has just been yeah, immense. So
All right. Well, my colleagues moving the slide along to tell me, Matt,
yeah,
you were running over. You
I'm a
talked way
fast
too much.
talker. You could save me for last.
Yeah, you were great. No, you were fantastic. So, so we do want to end with just if you want to learn more. And then we'll stay on as long as anybody on here who has questions, if they're in the chat or any of that. But we put some QR codes up on the screen here for your convenience. And we've shared not only information about Marcus Hotels and Resorts, Marcus Corporation, directly to our Marcus careers. We've also shared information about the American Hotel and Lodging Association, the Wisconsin Hotel and Lodging Association, and the Wisconsin Restaurant Association. We want you to explore our industry, our business, because we feel our brand, right, who Marcus is strong enough that once you get into this industry, it'll be kind of a natural path maybe for you to take a good look at us. But I would tell anybody right now, there is no better time ever than to get into the hospitality industry. We are very focused on what the future holds and creating a better work-life balance for individuals in our business. And then also allowing you special experiences. So our last slide, I believe, just tells you how to get a hold of Cammie or myself. If you want to connect with us directly on LinkedIn, reach out to us via email. All of my colleagues are also on LinkedIn, I believe, so you can reach out to them if you want to connect with them or talk about project management in hotels, HR, operations in hotels. So I see it's 3:01 by my clock, which I was hoping to get this done a little earlier, but any questions?
Yeah. You can pop them in the chat. Otherwise, Matt, I just want to say thank you. Cammie, Derek, Latoya, Vanessa, Sam, man, time and energy today. It was a really well thought out presentation. I'm ever so thankful. So I just want to say thank you for sharing us and bringing us along with your journey and your stories. Because truly that's what it's about, right? People pleasing and doing that thing for others. So thank you again to the UW System Career Treks Committee for their collaboration on this project so that we can experience. Today's trek has been recorded and will be made available for viewing no later than noon on Monday, hopefully. And recorded treks can be found again on that UW River Falls site. But with that, I am here seeing any questions or anything that popping through. I know we're short and at the end of our time. However, as Matt said, he does have some time. If there is a quick question or two. All right, I'm going to stop the recording, Matt, and then if someone stays on, we'll just kind of go from there. I think will be best.
Sounds great. Well, so sorry to go so long. It was probably me talking too much at the beginning, but when you talk about a subject you love,